G2 would have to find their first loss here in that same amount of time. That's a tough trend to break.
Well, getting straight into things, we're going to see a Hibana ban. So, Bank without Hibana is an interesting beast, but it's not something that's uncommon by any stretch. I mean, Hibana gets banned on Bank regularly. G2 will ban out Lion, surprise, surprise. And I'm guessing we'll probably see them take down Maestro or Echo, as the basement defense is going to be incredibly powerful now that the Yokais, or pardon me, the Xcaros are not in play. So, on the note of the Yokais, they will stay in play, at least for now, unless Immortals choose to ban Echo. Though I seriously find that doubtful because, I mean, if you're trying to reinforce the basement, you want to get rid of something different when you're banning out. Again, Clash?
I mean, Clash is, maybe Immortals just has flashbacks to seeing the other Latin America teams just run roughsod over their opponents with Clash in their own region, or maybe Immortals just doesn't want to deal with Clash and thinks that they can handle basically anything else.
I mean,
Immortals bans will be almost the same though, Michael. It was a hard breacher in Clash last time, and that's what we're going to see again.
Yeah, I'm not terribly surprised by any of these bans, I guess. The Clash is, of course, the most shocking, but it's not crazy. I get it. If it's something that you really just don't want to deal with, I mean, we have seen teams properly use Clash and completely shut out their opponents many times before. It just comes down to preference, you know? What are you comfortable dealing with, and what are you not? Well, you're not comfortable dealing with the Clash or dealing with the Clash, get rid of it. It's gone. Just like that. Simple as.
First defense is going to go downstairs to lockers and CCTV, and yet again, Mira will remain unbanned, as peculiar as that usually is to say. Of course, Mira enables a type of play downstairs on this site that becomes very rhythmic and almost very routine. So the wall that Yuke is reinforcing, you will typically see a Mira window somewhere around that. You'll have the left wall that is left unreinforced, blown open. That's where the impact just hit. Navi's coming in with the Mira window. Pretty standard stuff. And essentially what your job is there is the reinforcement near Yuke that he just reinforced to the left of the doorway, which PX is standing by. Well, what you're going to do as an attacker is you're going to typically blow that wall open. You're going to try to plant on where that wall explodes open into. And then somebody playing behind that Mira window is going to possibly toss a smoke at you. You don't see a smoke on the board, though. So there's going to be C4s tossed at you. There will be 2 on the board, the hands of both Pulse and Mira. But instead, one will actually run barbed wire. So that's interesting.
I cannot help but feel that's a mistake. That's a mistake.
Unless they feel that they don't have enough C4, or unless they don't think they have enough barbed wire. You know,
No, I mean,
if Echo's bringing a deployable shield, the only person with barbed is Jaeger. That means you've only got 2 pieces of barbed. You would need possibly 4 pieces there because you've got impact on the Legion. All
right, Parker, I'm going to say it. Either it was a mistake of their selection or it was a mistake of their calculation. No matter how you look at it, you want a Pulse with C4 while defending the basement, because how do people attack this? I mean, sometimes they're going to come from main lobby. I mean, they're also forgoing C4 on Navis.
There are 0 C4s available for Immortals right now on defense.
I'm so confused. Okay, so again, this is either a mistake of their selection or a mistake of their calculation. No matter how you look at it, it is a mistake. Basement is the site to have plant denial, and they've just decided not to bring 2 parts of that plant denial. They have the Yokai drones. That's huge, but that's not all of it. The Mira window cannot deny directly the plant just inside a server. G2 cannot know this, though. They obviously can't predict that there's not going to be any C4 on defense, so they're not going to adjust their strategy accordingly. It might be that Immortals can make this work still.
It's a painfully slow, some would say arduous process of trying to open these hatches up, which will expend almost all of the fuel of Maverick's breaching torch. But expecting a Hibana ban, it's going to give you a bit more flexibility. Keep in mind, there is still a Thermite here. First kill is going to go to Pengu. He's going to shred right through Cyber, and Yuke lost a lot of damage earlier on. Jonas on his belly, trying to contend with 2. Kanto Raketti takes out Navi's, and Yuke down, bleeding out. Will need to get picked up. PX absolutely pulverized, and 55 seconds to go. Execute, going down. Goga planting quite well, and it will get off. It's going to leave one in a very precarious position as there's still 3 members of G2's. Guns will be looking for him, and there you go. They'll find him. And G2 picks up the first round.
See, that's where I would have said, hey, if you had C4, you could have denied the defuse plant. But actually, almost all of Immortals was dead at that point. But I will say the reason they were dead is because they were getting aggressive onto the server push and the main stairs, but mainly on the server push, and they kept peeking from the main desk in CCTV. Why? I'll tell you why. They don't have C4. They can't deny the plant any other way. they were trying their best. So again, I'm going to give Immortals the benefit of the doubt and say that they accidentally brought the wrong gadgets. 2 people accidentally brought the wrong gadgets. Because if they did that deliberately, it's poor decision making. So, bottom floor once more for Immortals.
Direct your gaze to the bottom right-hand side of your screen. You'll see a Caveira in play.
Wait, what?
6 pick is going to be locked into Cyber going with the Vigil, so Cav will be here. Now, of course, Cav is an operator who sees some play on Bank, and I say some because the number's pretty tiny.
I will retract my laugh because we have seen Cav.
Jonas,
he's successful.
He got an interrogation in the grand finals
on this map
of the Paris Major on this map.
On this site.
On this site.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's definitely feasible. It's just
if
not normal.
And this is what I think about Immortals. I think what Immortals assesses after that first round was our roam play was not good enough.
True.
We need to be better at taking map control, forcing G2 to find us and extend greater amounts of effort into tracking us, and then we can rely a bit more on our anchor plays. Because essentially what happened was, with a minute to go, 3 members of Immortals were dead, and G2 was getting the plant off. Why? Because, well, puzzlingly, the Mira was trying to roam at one point on the main stairs, and, well, Immortals was just apparently in disarray.
So, G2 gonna need to hunt down these roamers on the top floor. There's 2 of them right now, or so it seems. He'll be playing over by CEO. That's Navi's and his teammate. Can't quite tell just yet. It's gonna be Cyber, the Vigil. So this is probably the dream duo in terms of operators. But in terms of players, maybe we'll see. Cyber gets taken down by Kantaraketi, and Pengu will eliminate Navi's. Well, yeah, Immortals might have been looking to delay for a little bit longer, but so far it's not looking good. And Jonas onto 1. That's a fight Jonas really shouldn't have won, but he did. And now it's a 2 versus 5. Immortals with 2 minutes to delay. This is not looking good.
So the investment in possibly a larger and more robust roam game does not pay dividends.
Nope.
At all. And in fact ends up being even more of a problem. But at least they've righted one wrong. They have a nitro cell on the Mira. So that's a good position for PX to be in, because even though he's getting jackal tracked and he's on his stomach, so he's going to have minimal movements, that ping is going to continue to exist in the same area, and they're going to know exactly where he is. Well, they can kind of telegraph that C4 plan. He pops up and the C4 will go to the grave. Jonas eliminating PX Uke on the flank, but he won't get past Pengu. You got to get up the stairs first. And Pengu will say, no, sir, not today. G2 up 2-0. And this Immortals team is going to need to find the gas pedal at some point on this match.
Can't help but feel that, being prone by Big Desk inside of CCTV after the wall gets thermited, that's probably the optimal scenario to throw your C4 and hope to even things out. But not the case in that round. Again, though, as you stated, at least he had the C4 to not use. Now, that shot right there, that's one thing I want to point out. One really should have won that fight. That could have been the start of the comeback for Immortals, but it didn't happen. Now, 2 failures on the bottom floor. Immortals are going to go to Tellers, try and mix things up. You can see the crowd trying to cheer up their team, and if you're wondering who I'm talking about, of course, it is Immortals. Here in Brazil, the Brazilians root for their squad.
And once again, as that round gave me flashbacks from the Rogue Nora Rengo matchup. 2 opportunities where the shots just missed. The Cav missed her shots.
Yeah.
The Pulse missed his shots.
It's been the story of the day.
I wonder if this crowd gets to people. I gotta wonder if the size and scope, because this crowd is, what, 4 times larger than the largest crowd we've ever played in front of, which was in Paris.
I want to say it's about 4, yeah. They're in that region.
It's deafening in there.
Yeah, it's a significantly larger crowd than we've ever dealt with. And, you know, say what you will about experience in having been there and done that, this is still something new for everyone attending. It's a LAN event, sure. It's got a stage like any other. It's got casters like any other, but it's got a larger and louder crowd than we've ever dealt with in Siege, and that's not something to be just snubbed at.
So, Uke opens the door onto the balcony. That P shooter, the MPX, will connect with Jonas, and he'll chip away at about 40 HP.
Yeah,
give or take. Jonas very lucky that didn't connect with the head, obviously.
One thing I noticed is how easily G2 have taken control of top floor, but they haven't gotten the whole thing. As you can see, Uke and Kanto are going to exchange bullets, and Pengu's going to drone himself into meeting hall, detecting the Jaeger and calling it out for his team. That's Cyber, who's actually just, I think, stuck there now. No, yeah, he's actually been giving a rotation, but he will also take down Jonas as he rotates and come back for Kanto Raketti. That's 2 for the Jaeger in meeting hall. Pengu really needs to get this refrag, but if he dies as well, it's going to look bad for a G2. He misses a lot of shots, whips out the pistol and dies! Uke will also take down Fabian. Goga finally shuts down Cyber, but he's all alone. Immortals have managed to take a significant advantage off the backs of their 2 roamers.
Goga is great fragging potential this season in particular. A lot of people condemned him previously for the fact that most of his job was droning and planting and dying. He's shown a lot more killing potential and a lot more prowess on attack. Sets up an exothermic charge, and, well, he can't hit Navi's as bobbing and weaving around those porcelain railings, the marble railings, and Goga's now put 3 together. Very winnable, and he's still got the exothermic charge just waiting as a possible distraction. His biggest impediment is going to be that shotgun of 1 that is trained at the doorway. That will kill Goga in any of those pellets really hit him, as Goga only sits at about 10 HP.
That mark might have been a bad call, but no, it won't be. Goga able to do a lot of damage to PX, forcing him back into kitchen. And the pistol out, he rushes into 1 and will die. A nice try from Goga, but it's not to be. And Immortals will take the round, their first on this map.
A hair away from absolutely incredible heroics, and probably would have broken the back of Immortals at that point. You go down 3-0 to that kind of clutch, well, that's debilitating.
But not the case. A nice try, but still just a try. A failure, ultimately. CEO now for Immortals. I think they've gotten wise to what they need to do in order to win. And the basement is not a great platform to get that win, for Immortals at least. Which, again, curious, considering the operator bans. Again, Immortals banned Hibana specifically to make the basement more powerful, and they cannot win the basement. Why? Because G2 will bring Maverick, and okay, we gotta be honest. Every time we see Hibana banned on Bank, people don't bring Maverick. Why? Because using Maverick to open up drop-downs is a pain. But it's also not that hard if you just are willing to take the time to do it. And G2 are the first team I've seen in a while. I'm trying and failing to recall a team that has substituted a Maverick in on Bank when attacking basement when Hibana's been banned. This is the first time I'm really seeing it. And it's not revolutionary. It's not crazy, outside the box thinking. It's just people don't do that.
I want to say that the only real substantial uses of Maverick that we've seen have been poke holes on horizontal reinforcements, not vertical. So the ones that are on an even plane rather than the ones that separate floors from each other.
Yeah.
So there you go, Rare Kaveri. Kaveri has a 0.9% pick rate in Season 8 across all regions. That is very similar to my KD ratio in this game when I play it in my own private time.
You don't give yourself enough credit, Parker. Not that bad.
Let's be honest.
No, not that bad.
Thanks, Michael. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's really kind of you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
G2 now looking to attack on the top floor. Now, here's the one thing about the top floor that is very different from Towers. You cannot run from the window pressure. I mean, you have 2 people rappelling on those windows. You can get full sight control. And that's why Immortals are going to have to rely on retaking or potentially running out on these guys rappelling.
Yeah, and I mean, that aggression from Immortals isn't there. And Bank is a map where you can go for spawn peaks. You can run out the main door. You can put pressure on these teams by flying out the windows. Now, I don't know if Immortals think that it might not pay, you know, dividends against G2. I'm not entirely certain what their mindset would be. But you've got to think at this point, Immortals is trying to play G2's game, and it hasn't really been working on this map so far. They've had one good map, and that's been about it. And one wall opened up in towards CEO, which is the scene for our 4th round. We've seen CCTV and Lockers downstairs twice. Then we saw Teller's Archives. First kill is going to go to Navi's. Excellent job as he takes out Goga, but immediately refragged from Kanto Raketti. Now Goga goes down, which is one of their only hard breachers. There is a Maverick technically on the board, but one of the charges went off. It blew open the wall, so it wasn't a total waste.
Information here on Kanto Raketti in the main lobby, but these bars are making the engagement so difficult for both players. Kanto whips out the shotgun. He is hoping and praying a bullet will land, but it's not going to be Kanto to get the kill. It will be Fabian, who manages to weave between the impenetrable bars. It's not an easy fight. It really isn't for either player, and you know, a lot of people might laugh at what just happened, but no, it's a difficult thing to win.
The hardest substance on Earth was used to make those bars. They have zero bullet pen, and they are notorious. Oh, a great angle from Kanto Raketti all the way towards Yuke. And upside down on Repel, there's PX trying to take an engagement. Oh, a great flick onto Kanto. Gives some life to this team of Immortals as he reloads and just waits to see if another push is going to come in. There are enemies at the gates here as Pengu still on Repel. Waiting, one takes out Jonas, and it's Fabian now. Next one up, but PX is there, and Immortals trying to tie this one up. Pengu on Repel, always dangerous. Shotgun comes out for the smoke, and one will scamper off. PX prone underneath the window. They know that Pengu will have to entry at some point. One peeks. Pengu goes for the Repel in, but PX is the wrong way. They've got the diffuser down. Pengu will need to go towards it. 10 seconds. All PX needs to do is live. Pengu won't have time. 2 seconds left. This is going to be a win for Immortal, a win of attrition, and they'll tie it up 2-2.
CEO and Tellers clearly the way for Immortals. Basement not working out great. You gotta wonder what would be the outcome here if they hadn't banned Habana and instead decided to take out somebody might be a little bit more useful for G2, because, you know, the ban phase not working out for Immortals, but yeah, as soon as they stop trying to use it, they start winning. It's crazy. And yeah, this push in through G2 was stalled out too hard because of the bars. Not necessarily because of the bars. Kanto missed a lot of shots as well, but it made it really difficult to make that push into main lobby.
It was also a staggered push in towards the site.
Yeah.
G2 just kind of trickled in. At that point, there wasn't really a joint effort. Didn't look like they were moving in unison with one another, and it was easy for Immortals to just cut them down at that point.
And a staggered push into the site is easily described as not ideal. You really, if you're pushing into the site, especially in a situation where you do not have a distinct man advantage, then you need to do it as a unit all together now and, you know, refrag each other. Did not happen though, not for G2 at least, and Immortals not done yet.
So, all tied up. G2, some heavy lifting being done from everybody. Fabian playing the support role for most of these positions. Didn't even get to see what the Maverick was capable of accomplishing, as he just simply went frag hunting at the start. Obviously didn't get close enough to the site to really put that blowtorch to any considerable use. So the final round here on Immortals defense is before we switch sides. Bank tends to be quite a balanced map, at least the stats at the end of the season would say. I always wanted to say that Bank tended to be a map where the defense would do quite well, but the stats show a different story. It ends up being actually one of the most balanced maps, if I remember correctly, from the numbers that I saw. And if I'm wrong, I have a feeling there will be a little Siege GG pop up in the bottom right corner that will come in probably in the next round or so, correcting me if I do have the info incorrect. So, it's a bit of a crapshoot as to which team is going to benefit from starting on attack or starting on defense. Surely the Habana ban will hinder the attackers quite hard, but then you've got a Maestro ban on defense, and not having a Maestro is hard for a lot of these teams, especially with how pivotal he is for the strategies. And he often will go banned, but there's an Echo there in a pinch. Of course, we know how good Goga can be on Echo, and Yuke playing it now in this round in particular. An entry onto that second floor for G2 as it's a downstairs hold for Immortals. So map control very, very important. And remember, the last 2 times we saw Immortals on the site, they lived and died off the roam game, and more so died than lived, because they lost a lot of members of their team very early on. But they're playing a lot more conservative this time and being patient and waiting for G2.
They also have decided to bring, I think, the right tools for the job.
Yeah, there's a Nitro cell on a Pulse. That's great.
Just altogether the right tools for the job. And I'm very happy to see that from Immortals. I'm not really sure what they were trying to do the first time around on the basement. And they're using a staggered defense, so they'll be falling off of server when they're too pressured. They've managed to waste 1 exothermic charge on that drop down, so the damage is done, all things considered. And now your Pulse back in sight, he will be able to call for the Mira C4, and then once the Mira C4 is expended, he will be able to use his own C4. So this is exactly how you play a basement defense. They've also done a decent job of wasting time. Only 1 minute left, and while you don't have a smoke, which is also very confusing, you will be able to deny the defuse with 3 C4s and a yokai drone.
G2's just going to circle the wagons, at least for the time being, towards this defense here, which Immortals have done an exemplary job of staying alive. 60 seconds, if you remember the first time around, there was 55 seconds to go. G2 was mid-plant. 3 members of Immortals were dead. Mimicking quite a number of teams. We see an Echo, or we see the Pulse rather, playing inside a vault. Baiting out the C4 is Goga, but there could be a yokai. You see both of Yuke's yokais in position, but neither of them appear to be above. Across from Yuke will come out, and oh no, but the C4 for PX will connect, and Goga goes goodbye. Jonas waiting to see if there's going to be another. Navi's has a C4 primed and ready. Could throw it out of the opportunity. There it goes, and so will Jonas! Immortals with 2 huge C4 kills. His were missing, Michael, in the first 2 rounds, and they are working for the Brazilians. Dropping from the hatch will be Kanto, and they're just going to have to frag out. PX goes down, 10 seconds, and this will get messy. Pengu planting, they need coverage. Navi's pushes in, takes out Kanto. Pengu frags, 1 trades it off. Fabian last alive, and he's going to get picked off by Cyber. Immortals, an incredible round, and they will take the lead.
3 C4s, yokai drones, no smokes, but still, Immortals managed to take it. Impressive defense downstairs, and you said it perfectly. Those C4s were missing the last couple times the defense went to the bottom floor. And when you bring the right tool for the job, you have an easier go of it. It's really that simple. Immortals played it perfectly, straight into your standard defense of the bottom floor without a Habana. The Maverick was not nearly as much of a presence as it was the second attempt that Immortals had on that bottom floor. The Habana ban finally paying off.
Now, we'll see what Immortals can muster going on to attack. They will bring a Thermite as well as a Maverick, and C4s, at least 2 should be in the hands of G2, with Goga and Pengu both likely bringing them. I'm imagining we're going to see a very similar strategy here, but Jonas on the Ella could conceivably bring the shotgun. Now, of course, we got to see the shotgun on Ella front and center just last matchup in the Fnatic versus EG match. So, is that what we're going to rock here?
Definitely something that could be very powerful. Usually when Ella brings a shotgun, it's over by the server stairs. And, you know, I mean, you can honestly hold server stairs. This is what we're talking about right now. You can hold server stairs with Ella's SMG, with her shotgun, I mean, whatever you want, really. But shotgun can be especially powerful up close. Now, that is a very, it's very much an investment strategy. It's the sort of strat that you can bring it out and it can work for you, but it also means if it doesn't work, you've lost a lot. So, we'll see if that's what's happening. I didn't actually catch it, or if it will pay off if it is what's happening.
That was a really good start by G2 there. They took out Yuke. The yokai drones didn't look like they were in any position to do any harm. And even then, the information that they could have possibly given wasn't really there. But the C4s, they couldn't bait out because they let the time go too long. And when you've got a minute left, you have to bait out those 3 C4s. You don't have to worry about smokes either. It's very difficult for you to be able to do that. And G2 was very impatient, it seemed.
Yeah, one thing I was about to actually praise from G2 is that Pengu was using IQ, and it looked like he was watching for the C4s, because you can get warning for the C4 toss using the IQ sensor. You can see it when it originates, and that gives you a little bit more information, and you can call for your teammate to get off the defuse plant. But that didn't happen. You lost 2 planters to the C4 when that could have been information gathered. Just unfortunate.
Yeah, so here we have in a position, map control needs to go in favor of Immortals quickly. It's going to be their first crack at attack. A pretty decent lineup. Lots of destructibility, good fragging potential. Jackal is nothing strange to this matchup. And of course, trying to take out the hatch from above is going to be Cyber. See if he can do as good of a job at Fabian. Now, a bit of a slower take here, actually, to open this up, but you know how much of the Preaching Torch you need to expend, and getting very close. But for Immortals, you're going to see some gunfire rattle right through it, and a smoke goes down for Cyber.
Yeah, that is going to try and distract, allows for the drop to get opened up. I do not believe he can open up 2 drop downs with the current fuel left for Cyber. So it's unlikely that those holes are going to do very much in this round. He also eats a little bit of damage and Devin need to open that second one up, but he has managed to eliminate a mirror window. So a little bit of control, I guess, if they were trying to push from garage. However, that's not the plan for Immortals, so it probably won't matter. Overall, it looks like they're shaping up for a server take, but at the same time, they haven't taken server. Pengu is still there waiting for the push to come out. It's very dangerous, leaving it down to the last 40 seconds for Immortals. I, at this point, imagine their only real option is to drop into the site, and that's not a great strategy to pull out. We'll see what they decide to do, though, as we come down to the last 25 seconds. Pengu's still inside a server. He knows how powerful the position is this late in the round, and he's just waiting for the push into sight. Navi's will get the first kill, and Yuke takes down Pengu as well. So what looked like a good G2 round is shaping up the other way. But immediate response from G2, 2 in a row, and another 2, leaving just PX. And he's only got 4 seconds. Fabian will shut him down. G2 take the round. We go to 3-3. A nice and even match so far. That's defense of the basement. Was quite a one-sided one for G2. It looked like it was going to be, at least, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, Immortal starts fragging. The really tricky thing for me is that we didn't have any pressure coming from the server that really influenced the round. You saw Yuke did eliminate Pengu, as was just on your screen, but there wasn't actually any server presence from Immortals, which is just an odd way of attacking the bottom floor, especially when you're trying to utilize those drop downs. The garage push was interesting. I like that they brought that out, especially wise considering they opened up the drop down, trying to use every advantage available to them, but at the same time, you're just avoiding, it seems like you're actively avoiding angles that could assist you. Overall, a very close battle at the end, but one that I think should have been a through-and-through victory for G2, considering how Immortals attacked that.
Now, on the analyst desk, I believe it was touched upon that it was called the Kanto angle, upstairs on CEO, establishing a deployable shield, and then having somebody with an ACOG playing behind it. It's not unusual, and we do mention it whenever we go up to CEO, because there are those who will watch that are somewhat unfamiliar. But would you look at that? Very similar to that style of setup that we were talking about. So what G2 will do is they'll reinforce one of the walls, they'll leave the other wall soft. You can engage through it because typically one of the attackers will try to rappel on the lobby windows to a certain extent. It does leave you slightly exposed to a rappel up onto the main door. It's something that we've seen actually in North America on Cloud9. Laxing has done it quite a bit. And there you see the long sight lines being displayed. Thank you very much. All the way into the site the ACOG can work towards. Now, the only ACOG that's going to be available on G2 is actually going to be in Kanto's hands on the Echo, and traditionally, you're not going to risk losing an Echo to a spawn peak.
Yeah, go figure Kanto or Ketty would be the one with the ACOG. One of the oldest and best ACOG players in Rainbow6, and, you know, give him whatever you want, he'll frag out, but put him in the right situation with a 2.5 magnification ACOG, and he will absolutely tear his opponents to shreds. Goga with a run out onto Yuke, and we've seen this run out already today. I mean, it's a pretty common one here. It's almost always the Valkyrie too. I don't know if you've noticed that, but yeah, he will get away scot-free too, managing to make it back into Dirt Tunnel, but Navi's will be there to shut him down. So I thought he was going to make it all the way. Not the case. At least Immortals gets the refrag, but time wasted and damage done. No Jackal, no tracking.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and it's a Jackal that falls too. Smokes off the board. Now your Buck is gone as well with Jonas. A great kill onto Navi's. And of course, that Buck can be so useful underneath CEO office. Most of that floor is completely destructible. It's wooden. You can get great angles, and then got some frag grenades as well. So you lost both sets of smokes. You've lost both sets, or you've lost your 2 frag grenades, you've lost your 2 smokes, and you've lost the ability to open up the bottom of that floor like a can opener, the skeleton key of the Buck.
Yeah, not exactly ideal for Immortals, but Fabian's also going to take down Cyber, and it gets even worse. This might be G2 angling for a lead here. They haven't had it since the second round, but Jonas, an excellent shot onto PX, leaving just 1. He is quite that, very singular. Oh. He will land a shot onto Fabian before dying to Pengu. And here we go. G2 back in the lead, but this time 4-3.
Didn't establish much of a presence, barely even made it in the building for Immortals there. And it was just routine for G2 as they came up against every member of Immortals just at the top of Skylight Stairwell. And it did not bode well for the rest of Immortals' push after they lost 2 early on, especially the one to Goga. As he does get traded off, Navi's was waiting very patiently. But Fabian was there to greet him, and it was a good read ultimately, and then the ground that was opened up by the Ash Charge, Jonas will use against them. And just a piece of advice to most people who might not think this through. Well, if somebody opens up an angle, your opponents can use it too. And that's exactly what G2 did.
Do the angles go both ways, Parker?
I would say so.
Yeah, I would say that as well. There's also, I think, some other people who would say that. But Teller's Office archives for G2, and they haven't gone here yet, but since they've been successful everywhere else they've gone, I mean, they don't really have much of a choice. Open area, the only one apart from this that is available to G2. Most teams, I think I would say 75% of teams lean Tellers over open these days.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fair.
I think a big part of that is that the open area hold almost always requires a mirror. And when I say almost always, I said you can obviously do it without one.
I mean, yeah, and
successful defenses typically hinge on having a good mirror and keeping that mirror in place.
And they do have the mirror, but at the same time, I don't know, I prefer having the mirror on the top floor when defending the Tellers. Exactly what we see G2 setting up right now. I think this is definitely a safer strategy because you can just fall off of it, right? Your mirror window setup, you're going to have a similar mirror. You're going to have that mirror in Meeting Hall facing towards electrical. If you're defending open area too, you're going to do the delay strategy there as well. But the one in sight that you were talking about being essential, if you lose that, it's all over. Now, the A mirror window is kind of interesting. You don't see that very often.
No, down below it's going to give you a good sight in towards the lobby. Now, a big part of why you so rarely see that is because typically you'll have a Valkyrie camera in there to give you your information. There might be an Evil Eye. We've seen a couple teams situate Evil Eyes either on the walls or up on the beams, on the desk, etc. Maestro is banned, as you know, so he's not going to be able to use his gadgets at all. So you have to kind of come up with a new solution. That mirror window can be quite difficult to take care of. Most teams that attack will likely throw smoke off and try to choke off the main doorway just by the metal detectors and push in. But it's very difficult for you to do that if there's a mirror window there. You will almost have to either, number one, use a smoke in front of it, or number two, get one of your hard breachers up to that mirror window. Keep in mind, there's no Hibana, so you cannot take that mirror window out from afar. You need to commit a body that close to the mirror window. And that means the Thermite would put himself in harm's way, and it's easy for a potential run out or push from the defenders to stop the Thermite in his place, unless you can have complete control of lobby and make sure nobody's going to try to exit from the side doors.
So, in the main lobby, you see Navi's luck. He's able to get some great control along with PX, and while G2 have gone for the strategy that you were just describing, I mean, you know, it's a very much an off-site strategy, but they're also going to get 2 kills as one attempts to push into site. Navi's and Yuke, though, will refrag it. They've got Archives control. Fabian, though, onto Navi's. It's going to make that a lot more difficult. As you can see, Pengu from behind could get an easy kill, and yes, he will. Yuke goes down, and Cyber will as well upstairs. G2 take it. And they put themselves even further in the lead. 5-3 match point and series point.
Tough for Immortals. They had that great run of 3 rounds and seemed primed and ready to keep this one close, but the moment they switched sides, well, the defense is now on a 6-round streak, 3 of which were for Immortals, and then of course 3 for G2. So everything is coming up right now for the Europeans, who are looking to make sure that their region has representation in the semi-finals. They're 1 round away, as you astutely put it. Because we now just hit the 3rd round and move on to the 4th, it means that the sites unlock, at least the first one, which was lockers and CCTV, and that, no surprise, will be where G2 opts to go. And they're gonna bring a very similar strategy. They're gonna bring a smoke in Fabian's hands, and then, well, Jonas is there. A 6-pick off of the castle to the Mira. It's gonna be difficult for Immortals to deal with this same strategy that they had to go against last time.
Basement hold, indeed. Gonna be a difficult one. Now, the operator selection here for Immortals is very much leaning on frags. Not just in the literal sense of those grenades that you're going to be having from the sledge, but also in terms of the operators selected here. Zofia and Ashe combination. It's Immortals screaming, "I really need to win these fights," and that has been a problem for them so far this match. As you can see across the board for G2, I think even performance. Fabian really standing up and out from the crowd, but the rest of his team, I mean, just all contributing, and that's why you see them in a 2-point lead right this second. Now, there is no second hard destructor here for Immortals. This is another dangerous thing. Because they're leaning so heavily into their fraggers, they've decided not to bring Maverick. So attacking onto the basement without Maverick means 1 more drop down will not be opened up, and that's, I feel like, just potential lost for the Brazilians, and it's gonna make their attack onto the basement eventually that much harder.
Yeah, so if Immortals can be able to take good map control away, if Immortals can isolate the offsite players of G2, then they have a fighting chance. But it looks like G2 is going to keep most of their bodies close to site, which on Bank is somewhat common. It's a commonplace type of deal where the defensive floor of Bank is a comfortable fit for 4 of your 5 defenders. Usually you want to keep somebody maybe on the stairs or inside a server on the server stairs, not too far off, playing aggressively near the site, but can essentially be recalled at any point and brought back. Cyber narrowly missing a kill that could have been a huge boon to Immortals onto the Ella of Jonas, who with Geschmack Mines is likely just waiting to see if the sledge can come in, and he's gonna get pulverized. Jonas getting the very first kill, and Immortals will have to fight from behind.
Now, either he was pulling out a grenade or a hammer there, but either way, Cyber did not clear all the way down the stairs before he assumed it was clear. That's a big mistake there, especially considering, look at that, the Jackal track right after Cyber went down. Unfortunate timing there. Navi's gonna try for the refrag, and he will be successful. Jonas goes down, and this isn't over yet, screams Immortals.
That's a good kill, but it takes 90 seconds to happen, and Sledge gone. Those are the set of frag grenades that will be no longer available for Immortals. And as this timer ticks down, you know from what we saw when G2 had to plant, and it failed against Immortals, that the clock is your greatest adversary past the 1-minute mark, especially if you're trying to bait out C4s and smoke. So much utility from G2 available. The smokes, likely 2 sets of C4, and then the yokai drones as well. And Immortals is just waiting right now inside of open area. Yuke looking to drop, he'll pick up a footprint onto the smoke. That's Fabian, and he sees it for just a second, but cannot connect. Kanto Raketti is there, and the bearing 9 a bit too unwieldy as it bobs over the head of the Ashe of Navis on those stairs.
Kanto Raketti in a very powerful position there inside of the garage. He's gonna have to contend with many of these attackers, but look at that angle from Yuke. Fabian goes down. That's a very important frag. Gogo waiting for the drop, but he's been stunned. The flash so important there. It was not capitalized upon, but the lifeline will also be successful onto the Mira, resulting in a missed C4 and another missed C4 from Pengu, which means the drops will be a lot easier. But Pengu in a great position will get 2 onto 1 in Yuke. Navi's able to get the refrag, pushing down the server stairs, but Navi's also gets Goga. It's all up to Kanto. He's got so little HP. The plant being put down right now by PX. Navi's, who's been landing his shot, covering, but he will miss some important ones onto Kanto Raketti. Only needed to land one in that circumstance, but it didn't happen. Kanto now in the 1 versus 1, but the time is against him. Diffuser planted and PX in a great position. He's gonna make it even better. He can go for the drop down. Kanto Raketti in a 3 armor is not gonna be fast enough to work this. He's used to that 3 speed. Holding the drop, waiting for the push. This could be perfectly timed, but no, it's not going to be. The lifeline still in play for PX, and it's a stuck disable. Kanto loses it. PX with the clutch.
A massive sigh of relief swept across Immortals there as they managed to stave off defeat. And for the 2nd game in a row, we are looking at possible overtime. What a performance. And that time really was working against Immortals, but they were very swift about the way they did that. Pengu looked so ready as he took out 2 as they dropped down the hatch right into the middle of the site, but then Pengu gets picked off. And Immortals recovers very gracefully, especially with that hatch control. It's very easy for you to isolate the last remaining defenders after you have taken control around the site, and that's exactly what Immortals did. And they did it much faster than I think I anticipated, and possibly you anticipated as well.
No, yeah, I mean, definitely surprised, honestly. The way that was shaping up, it looked like G2 had it in the bag, but some great use of the utility from Immortals, and they managed to make it work. Very impressive. I think a lot of that comes down to the stuns, the lifeline, especially the lifeline from PX. If it weren't for his use of that, usually what would happen, okay, 9 times out of 10, when you're setting up for a push like what we just saw from Immortals, your Zofia spams the lifeline in every corner. But there at the end, he still had one. And he was able to use it to check for Kanto Raketti on the planted diffuser. So very impressive use there from PX, and just overall from Immortals to be able to refrag each other. Bottom floor once more for G2. They came so close in the previous round. Who can blame them really for trying again?
Kanto Raketti just so close, and I gotta imagine that he didn't have any yokais left. He didn't bother to go on, and he could have possibly stopped the plant in its tracks if he had one of those 2 mechanical drones available to him, but alas, he had to go and just simply frag out, and he did a great job taking down the Ash, but couldn't get any more, and PX and the rotate. The funniest part is that if Kanto hadn't hesitated, the moment that PX started running, if Kanto had stuck that diffuse, he probably would have had enough time for when PX got up to the hatch to possibly get that down. But I mean, that's not something that Kanto necessarily knows about. There might have been no info to tell.
And who can blame Kanto for being cautious?
Right.
In a 1 versus 1, as tense as that one was, it makes sense. You're gonna make sure you check every angle before you commit to disabling the diffuser.
Now, what we just saw there was Cyber trying to command the stairs, the main stairs, in the exact same spot that we know Jonas was playing in. Jonas, as the Ella last time around, did so much damage here. Obviously in the Valkyrie now, likely saying we need less fragging potential, we need more information. And Immortals is in the 11th hour. This is win or go home for them.
Yeah. Now, of course, if they do manage to get the win, they're still gonna have to go to Clubhouse and see success there, but one step at a time. Cyber on the main stairs still. He's been contending with this position for quite a long time, and Kanto Raketti will be his adversary. Just a little away. Kanto playing it smart. I mean, he's Echo. He wants to delay as long as possible. Sure, he lost a yokai drone already, but he's got one more, I want to say, in play. And if not, he's still a player individually who can be incredibly influential in these rounds, and you really need him to stay alive as long as possible. So him falling off that angle, smart play in that situation. Once more, Immortals have not taken control of server. They've instead focused on opening up the drop downs, and this is risky.
Goga's gonna lose one of those mirror windows, as you can hear it eject. With that Valkyrie camera being positioned in garage as well, Michael, it's gonna alleviate the pressure that would be on Kanto to stick a yokai drone in there and possibly be able to maneuver it towards the server where you think the main push is likely going to happen. Immortals, once again, in the same position they found themselves in the last time around, which is they're just waiting. But here's Pengu at the bottom of server stairs. He's got his cardiac sensor out, and as Navi's just very slowly creeps around the corner, it's going to tussle with Pengu. A C4 goes down, but the Ash will be able to get away. And Immortals, miraculously, 20 seconds left, and not a scratch on them. This is going to get messy. And Yuke, Candela in, Pengu not blind at all, just sprays in and is just twisting in the wind. One will drop through the hatch, and it's Goga. Will take down one, and there he goes. He fells. A C4 from Jonas, as Immortals will have to fight on the break, but PX is down, and Goga gets one. Navi's is the only one up, and with 1 second left, he won't have the diffuser, and G2 will just simply wait out the clock, and they will join FaZe, Norarengo, and Fnatic tomorrow in our semifinals, where they will face off against the Aussies. Immortals go home empty-handed.
And I think you could see it on G2's faces. That was much closer a match than they were anticipating. Well played to Immortals, but better played to G2, as I think the world expects of them.
Oh, huge credit to Immortals. They pushed one of the best teams that we have seen over the last year.
Yeah.
First map, 7-5. Second map, 6-4. The score line will say 2-0, but that doesn't come even close to telling the whole story. And this is quite a challenge, and one of actually the best challenges that we've seen at a G2 over the last couple events.
Yeah, they definitely did step it up there, especially at the end, but they had to put in that extra effort just to beat Immortals, and you see there's a lot of respect here going on. I mean, Immortals, I think, happy with their performance as well. You could tell that as much as they did lose there, at the end of their season, their regular season, wasn't great. You know, not a lot of people thought that Immortals had any chance of going anywhere at this LAN, if we're being honest. And they did give G2 a run for their money, and that, in of itself, impressive.
Navi's in particular deserves an extraordinary amount of praise. Somebody who has kind of existed outside of the sphere of recognition inside of Latin America. He did everything in his power to carry that team on his back today, and was by far and away Immortals' best player. But that's it for Michael and myself today. Also Milos and Emzo rounding out the cast earlier on. We're gonna throw it down to the stage. Thank you so much from the casters. We'll see you tomorrow, but there's still more to go, so stay tuned. Down to the stage we go.
Okay, guys, and I'm here with Fabian after the last win of the day. Fabian, first of all, congratulations. And I ask you this first question, and I want you to know that your answer will impact them tomorrow, but has the Brazilian crowd impacted you guys in any way during this match?
I thought it would be a lot more negative than it was. It's nice to see that even if you might not like us, you weren't really booing and doing anything really bad. Like last time we were in Brazil, we felt very threatened, but this time it's a good crowd. It's nice to see that so many people show up as well. I think we're all here for the same reason. We love the game.
Olha, galera, eu perguntei para ele se de alguma forma a torcida tinha impactado, e ele falou que achou muito legal, que a galera não vaiou eles como da última vez. Ele agradeceu bastante, falou que ficou muito feliz e falou, afinal de contas, todos nós aqui estamos pelo mesmo motivo, a gente ama esse jogo. Então ele agradeceu aí o comportamento de todo mundo aqui em relação ao time, independente da opinião de cada sobre o time. So Fabian, Immortals is one of the most aggressive teams, at least in Latin American region. How do you guys prepare differently depending on the behavior of the team? And what behavior were you guys expecting from Immortals on this match?
We were expecting them to play aggressive, and they did. I mean, you look at Bank when they tried to retake main stairs, which is very uncommon, at least in EU, because we feel like we don't have a chance to do it because you get many more angles. They played very, very aggressive. We were prepared for it, but I mean, aggression is something that's very difficult to read because it can come anytime, any second, and they might just get your frag.
Eu perguntei para ele, galera, que a Immortals é um dos times mais agressivos, né, do BR6, de todos os cenários, de todos os torneios, e como que eles prepararam. Ele falou, cara, realmente eles foram muito agressivos, tentaram pegar de volta até a escada principal do banco, que não é uma coisa comum. Ele falou, cara, foi muito agressivo, foi muito difícil, mas ele comentou que jogar agressivo é uma faca de dois gumes e que nesse sentido eles conseguiram se preparar nessa partida. And I was talking with a lot of people throughout today, and you guys got a 2-0 here, but it was it wasn't like easy. But lots of the players and the casters and a lot of people that I talked to, they said, I don't know what happened with these guys, but they seem to have a win switch. It comes to a point that they say, now we're gonna win. And they change the rhythm of the match. Do you guys see it that way? Do you guys agree the commentary on how you play? And if that's true, what is the secret of that switch?
I don't know what the secret is. I think we've been a team for a long time and we know each other really well, so we know how the other person will think, most of the situation at least. Win switch, I don't know if we have that. That's a difficult thing to say. I think that when we start reading our opponent, nobody can beat us.
Eu falei para ele que muita gente me falou hoje que parecia que eles têm uma chavinha que eles viram para ganhar, e como é que ele faz isso? Ele falou, cara, eu não acho que a gente tem uma chavinha para ganhar, mas a gente joga junto há muito tempo, então muitas vezes a gente acaba não perdendo algum tempo de comunicação porque a gente já sabe o que o outro vai fazer. Ele falou, cara, eu acho que quando a gente está integrado, ninguém pode derrotar a gente, mas a gente não tem uma chavinha de vitória, não. Fabian, what is happening in this tournament? Because we have some upsets today. Do you have any opinion on that?
I mean, APAC is the best region in the world currently, I guess. They have 2 teams in semis. Who expected that? It's difficult to say. I mean, all the teams that go here are good, really good, and I think that every team that goes here expects themselves to win.
Perguntei para ele sobre os resultados que a gente teve diferente. Ele falou, cara, bom, pelos resultados agora, a região da Ásia Pacífica é a região mais forte do mundo, né? Pelos resultados agora. Mas ele falou que eles estão preparados para enfrentar. And from the teams, we have 4 teams tomorrow, of course. You guys are one of them. And who do you think is the strongest team besides if you think that you guys are the strongest?
Well, I'm guessing we're going to play FaZe in the final. I would be surprised if anything else happens.
Ele falou, perguntei para ele sobre a partida de amanhã, ele falou, eu acho que a gente vai enfrentar a FaZe amanhã na final. E eu ficaria surpreso se qualquer outra coisa acontecesse. Foi a resposta dele aqui para essa pergunta. Fabian, any last words here for the fans, for the Brazilian crowd? And I want to ask you one last question before that. So, you guys are considered by many to be the strongest team now. Do you feel a different kind of pressure playing because of that opinion?
I wouldn't say we feel pressure because people think we're the best in the world. I honestly believe that we are as well, just because we've won every tournament there is to win. We've pretty much beaten every team there is to win. But coming here and playing in front of a crowd that I know, if we get to the final against FaZe, they're not going to cheer for us. I mean, nobody here wants us to win if they do that.
Ele falou amanhã, eu perguntei para ele sobre o resultado deles terem mais fortes, e ele só terminou falando o seguinte, se a gente chegar na final amanhã contra a FaZe, e é o que ele quer, ele falou, ninguém vai torcer pra gente, ninguém quer que a gente ganhe, mas a gente vai se esforçar. Pelo menos ele tem essa percepção. So, any last thoughts?
No, I'm just happy. I hope you cheer for us in the semis at least. I mean, I think we earned that. So cheer for us in the semis, and then we'll see if we can give you a good match in the final as well.
Aí, galera, ele falou, torçam pra gente nas semifinais, eu espero dar uma ótima partida pros fãs da FaZe na final. Thank you so much, Fabian. Congratulations once again. Thank you, guys. A great talk here with Fabian. Great match for all of you. And it's back to you.
Fabian on stage there.